Hello, legends. I had to restart the stream. There were some people on the other connection. For some reason, it was not picking up the microphone. So hopefully, people will pick up this new live session that I just created. Yep, I see two people there. Yeah, for some reason, there was a glitch. It wasn't picking up the microphone. So I had to restart the session. I see there are two people online already. We're going to be talking today about cycling in rainy weather. And the main reason is because I checked the weather, and tomorrow it's going to be raining. And it's Saturday. Hey, Psycho. Yeah, you had to quit. Yeah, I had to reload YouTube myself. I don't know if they were having issues. Not sure what's going on, but they weren't picking up my microphone. So it's okay now. That's the weather in our area. Let me go back to my location. So as of, let's see, what I do is I'm going to scroll to about 6 a.m. You can see there's rain the whole day. It's going to rain. I mean, the percentages are from 70% to 100% up until 5 p.m. Then it goes to like 30%. So it's going to be raining. That's why I decided to talk about cycling in rainy weather, because I don't let the rain stop me. I brought some stuff. So primarily, a lot of riders will like change their plans, because if you look at the weather here on Sunday, it's supposed to be sunny. There's a cold front coming in. That's what's bringing the rain. So right now it's like 15 to 18 Celsius, thereabout, 60s, low 60s, low to mid 60s. Well, it's going to be 37 on Sunday in the morning once the front comes in Saturday night. So Sunday is going to be cool. And let's see what the temperature will be. On Sunday, it will be 63. So about the same. It'll warm up probably later in the day. But the morning will be cold, because 37 is probably like 3 or 4 Celsius in the morning. So a lot of riders in our area will definitely skip tomorrow and wait for Sunday to ride. See, I don't do that. I'm going to ride both days. So I'm going to put mud guards on my bike. And if those of you who have the little ass savers, you can use that too, because cycling in the rain, the biggest hassle is having a wet rear. That's uncomfortable. Nobody, it's soggy. It just doesn't feel right. Keeping yourself dry is very critical. And since the weather is not going to be very warm, I will only be wearing, I brought these things over here. I will be dressing warm underneath, but I'm going to be wearing, this is a rain jacket. It's called a shadow jacket. But basically, this keeps the rain off of you and is breathable. So any jacket you have, that's what you want. I'm not going to be using the vest. I just brought it to show you. I'm not going to be using the vest. And the main reason is because it's going to be cold. Okay. 60 for a high is going to keep getting colder during the day, because I just explained that there's a front coming in and Sunday morning will be colder. Since it's going to stay cold, you don't really want to wear a vest because your arms will get wet. And you don't want to be wet and cold. That's not a whole lot of fun with the wind factored in. So I'm wearing a jacket over what I wear. So I'm going to dress warm and put on the jacket. But then the jacket becomes a layer. So you really have to consider that. So you don't want 3 layers. I will wear 2 layers and the jacket. Base layer, warm, thermal, and then the jacket over it. Anything more than that will get too hot. The other thing I want to show here is, let me put these to the side when I'm done with them. I'm going to make sure my head is covered. And since the high is going to be low 60s with the wind and everything, I'm going to wear this and then put my helmet over it. But in addition to that, this is going to go over my helmet. This is just a shower cap. The cool thing about this is it will keep the water from going through, and it's great when it's cold. You don't want to wear this when you have showers, like if it's above 65 degrees, like 18C, because it can get hot because it does not breathe at all. But I like it when it's very cold to wear. I don't have to wear a very thick hat. So I may just wear a cycling cap, not this, and put this over my helmet. This fits the helmet to where there's no flapping. It's really snug. I just wanted to show you that. It's just a shower cap you can get anywhere. But that will keep the water from going through. I only use those when it's cold. Okay, of course, I will be wearing gloves that keep water off, because you don't want your hands to get wet. If your hands get wet and the wind chill, you can get really cold and you won't stay out there very long. I will definitely keep my feet dry by wearing these guys tomorrow. These are the Pioggia 3 from Castelli. That's one example. Or something like this from Endura. The reason I'm showing these is these actually keep water out. This is the one that Psycho talked about that Paul was wearing last week. This is not designed to keep your feet dry. It will keep you warm. But when you have a lot of rain, water will go through this membrane. So I will not be wearing this. There are some things like the other pro team shoe covers and so forth that they have DWR treatment. You could probably wear that. I brought these to show you, since the weather is cold, I'll be wearing these tights. The reason I'm picking these tights is whatever material they use keeps water from going through the tights. These are the pro team tights with bibs. And it doesn't have to be Rafa. A lot of the vendors make tights and shorts. Some of them call it Aqua Guard or whatever. That beads water. It's specifically designed for rainy rides. That's what you want to wear. The reason why that's important is because when it's cold and wet, you want to keep water from going through. If it were just a warm day and was going to rain, I would wear regular stuff. I wouldn't worry about it. But when it's cold, you don't want water on you with that wind chill. Then you won't be sitting out there for long. We plan on riding at least 6 hours, rain or no rain. So we'll be bone dry because we've done it before. No problem with water. And the biggest thing is you keep the water off your shoe with the front mud guards and the water off your rear with that, because you don't want your shorts getting wet also. That's just, it doesn't feel right. So we're using temporary mud guards because the area we live in, we have very few rainy days. So I don't have a bike with eyelets to hold permanent mud guards. But if you live in an area that has a lot of rain, then you definitely want to look into that. That way you can ride rain or shine. I don't let the rain stop me. So Nat King, he says, evening. Welcome, Nat. Look around. Everybody from chilly Florida. It's chilly everywhere. There's a lot of snow up north. The Northeast got slammed. They got a lot of snow. I think some places got up to 4 feet. That's a lot of snow. So it's probably the same system that moved across the country. It came down the middle and then moved east, so it's drifting here now. So we just have overcast skies right now. It warmed up versus what we've had all week. We've barely hit 10 Celsius most of the week this week here. And for us, that's cold, because we got a lot of moisture. So it stayed between 40 and 50 most of the day until today it got to 62, which is like 15, 16 Celsius. So it felt balmy after a cold week, but you can't let that stop you. So it's something you just have to prepare yourself for. So Saturday is the day to do at least 6 hours. And so we're ready to go and enjoy the rain. A lot of positives about the rain. The roads are less traveled by the other road users' cars. Nobody wants to go out for the most part. We're leaving early, so it will be clear. And it's just a whole different feel and everything. Even the animals behave differently. So it's nice. The views are different and everything. We'll get some shots because chances are it will probably just be Paul and I riding because we're not going to sit in the spray. Those of you who remember in the summer, I rode with the WCC one day and it was raining. I had to let them go. There was just so much spray. I had mud guards, nobody else did. And I think it's high time people started investing in stuff like that, because why would you want to leave home, ride in the rain and come back dirty and wet? Because that's what happens when you don't have anything to keep the water off of you. The dirt from the road just soils your garments and your rear is wet. The cycling pads get wet, and that's no way. That does not feel good. Yeah, so Pizza Gravel Riders. He's from South Korea. It's the 19th, the next day. So it's Saturday already. Yeah, we're getting ready for our 19th. So we're going to be riding in the rain tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. We'll get a few clips and try to come up with something. Maybe we'll do a merge of Saturday, and then whatever we do on Sunday, we'll merge that. The Festive 500 starts next Thursday, I believe. It's Christmas Eve. So from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, it's 8 days, 500 kilometers, about 311 miles. And so we should be having fun with that. I'm looking forward to that. So all the festivities doesn't sit around your midsection that way. Be kind of cool to get out there and get some K's in, and then come home and eat whatever you want. Yeah. So I wanted to start with that, but don't let rainy weather stop you from having fun. There are a lot of things that you can do to make it very comfortable. I mean, we've ridden to where we'd stay out there all day in the rain. It's fun, when you have the right gear. That's the biggest thing. Some of the shoes have holes under them, so you got to make sure that there's not a whole lot of water getting in there. That's one of the reasons for making sure you cover that front wheel. The front wheel gets your feet wet. Trapper said, yeah, low budget winter bike with full mudguard, even dynamo powered life with no recharge hazard is what I rock. Yeah. I mean, you can put mudguards on any bike. I don't really have a rain bike per se. I put the mudguards on the Blue or the Colnago because their tubes are smaller. Once I got them adjusted for those two bikes, the strap is a little short for the orange bike. And all we did was we added there's a little film they ship with the XL mudguards. They're really, really well made, and they hold their position and they just work. And the ironic thing is when we show up with our mudguards, everybody wants to get dibs on who's going to follow us, but nobody else. So we don't ride with groups. If it's raining, we let them go because all they do is spray and mess up your kit. They need to invest in mud guards or something. I think that's the way to go because then you can ride. And like I said earlier, the roads are less traveled. So you have the roads to yourself. Most people don't want to go out when it rains. So, hey, Dwayne, he says, I love riding in the rain too, but my crew avoids riding in the rain unless we're caught in it during the ride. Yeah, your crew's like everybody else out there, but maybe I think it's a U.S. thing because where I grew up, and I know in Europe, people ride. They don't let the weather stop them. Hi, Melanin. Yeah. You can't let the weather stop you. If you got to get your K's in, you got to get your K's in. It's kind of funny to see people on expensive bicycles spraying themselves with dirty water. So that's not very logical. And that's why they don't ride. So then they're going to sit on a trainer for several hours. No, I much rather get out. It's more fun. Plus, if you get caught in the rain during a Grand Fondo, what are you going to do? You got to know how to ride in the rain. When we used to compete, the coach used to say, you need to train in the rain so you can know how to ride in the rain because all the races are not sunshine. So you know how to deal with that. So, I don't care for getting caught in the rain. When I'm going out, I check the weather. If there's a chance of rain, I make sure I'm prepared because even if I'm caught in the rain, I want to have mud guards and stuff on the bike. It takes a few seconds to strap them on. Not a big deal because I'd much rather keep the spray off of me. And then your cleanup is less when you get home. When I ride in the rain, all I do is wipe my chain down because you get a little bit of grit on them. But the bike itself, I don't clean the tube. I'm going to use it the next day. I don't worry about it. But you yourself, you're dry and you're clean. You guys have seen the videos where we rode in the rain with other riders and you can see how filthy they were. There is no way that's a lot of fun. Been there, done that. And when you take your shorts off, you go wash it, the water's black from all the dirt. The water gets dirty on the road and you just got all that road grime on you. So that's the biggest thing. That's why they don't ride. They don't want the cleanup. Hey, Paul's here. They don't. It's the cleanup that gets people to not ride in the rain. That's because they're not prepared. And it's not for everywhere. Like the guys in Portland and Seattle and places like that, it rains a lot there. So everybody's equipped. Oh, you wouldn't ride. They get more rainy days than sunny days. So you have to be prepared. I'm sure there are a few people that don't have mudguard, but they probably look odd, because if you live in those areas, you really should prepare. It's just, there's no point to it. You got a $15,000 bicycle and no mudguard. It's like having a car that sprays you when you drive down the road. So there's no excuse. When I was growing up, all the bikes had mudguard. They came with mudguards. I know all the cruisers around here, you know, the beach cruisers, I'm sure in California, those beach cruisers, all of them come with mud guards, you know, and some of them are painted to match the body of the bike, you know. So there's no reason. I know it doesn't have style points supposedly among the elite racers and so forth, but nah, you know, at a minimum, you got to be able to cover your rear, you know, if that's the only thing you do. But even that, the front wheel will get your shoes wet because it just continuously pours water on your feet as you ride the front tire. So when we put the mud guards on, it's like nirvana. It's beautiful. You know, you get out there, you're equipped, and, you know, so yeah, like I said, the biggest difference is when it's cold, keep the water off of you. Don't wear a rain vest when it's cold. Your arms will get wet. You will get cold. So I will be wearing a rain jacket. And this jacket that I showed does not balloon in the wind. This jacket is fitted. This is a Protein, I think they call it shadow jacket. It fits your body. So it's not going to be flapping around or whatever. That's the thing. And the thing is it's not plastic. I don't know what material it is, but it keeps the water out and it breathes. So you're not going to be in a hot box. We've used it before. We used it last week when we saw Bob out there. It was Sunday. It works really well. I like this color. Now, everybody would go for like black, you know, when they get these kind of jackets. I went for this color, first of all, 2 reasons. It was on sale. And secondly, this is very visible. Because most of the time when it rains, it's not sunny. So I wanted something that would be easy to spot. And this they call it ultramarine. It is visible from a long ways off. I really like that. You know, you can hear it crinkling. Whatever the material is that shadow line. They have shorts that they make that beads water. They got arm warmers for the shadow line. They're kind of pricey at regular price. So if you wait and you shop, you should be able to get. So this was very competitively priced when I got it. And these things will last because we don't ride in the rain that often. So I might use it maybe a few times in the winter and it hangs up the rest of the time. So you have this for several seasons. So it's just a few pieces that make the difference. I don't usually wear any glasses. I mean, my specs, because the water gets on there and after a while you really can't see. So most of the time we end up taking it off and putting it behind here like this, you know, just in case the day changes and you need it. But I usually take the ones that have the, what do you call them? The changeable lenses so that it's clear when it's cloudy. And then if the sun comes out, it transitions and it darkens. I have one of those and they work really well, you know. So that you kind of have to be prepared. It's the little details that make the difference, the enjoyment you'll have in difficult weather. You know, you just have to plan ahead of time. So everything's kind of mapped out. So we'll roll out our usual time tomorrow morning and just the 2 of us head out and get 6.5, 7 hours in. We're going to go north as usual to deal with some hills. I definitely would like to do that 9.5% climb that we found with the newly paved road. That thing, it's long and it's steep and it really kicks. So we may visit that. And then there's another 8.5 climb in the Richards area. So you go out there and get a good workout the whole time out there. Everything's between 4 to 8% when we go out to Richards. So we may do more filming in the Richards area tomorrow, just to kind of get a different variety. That's an interesting name, Pizza Gravel Riders. Let's see here. Yeah, Melanie says I'm right. Yeah, I mean, Melanie in Asia, I'm sure it rains there a lot too. Asia's probably the similar weather, maybe Florida. I don't think it gets that cold like Florida, but it's probably tropical, depending on where you are in Asia. Yeah, you've got to be able to ride in all kinds of weather. Throw on 1 or 2 pieces and head out, you know. Welcome, John Hill. And it's good if you can afford it. It's good to have a bike that's already equipped for the rain, like tripod. So it's got a low budget winter bike with full mud guards. The cool thing about full mud guards, we don't have full mud guards. Our mud guards stop on the rear at the brake. Same thing in the front. but they can't go under there. There's not enough clearance. So the only thing is that you get a lot of little spray on the seat tube. So you got to clean that. If you're super picky, you clean that after the ride, just kind of wipe the tube down. But with full mud guards, you and the bike are 100% protected. With the mud guards we have, you're more protected than the bike. So you get a little bit of spray on your front derailleur, and so you have to clean that and lube it after a ride, to make sure that your chain's functioning well. But other than that, but for the most part, really, the rain, unless it's really torrential rain, there's not a whole lot of water that's coming down. The kind of rains we have here is very light. Where we get messed up from is the water that gathers on the road. As you guys saw when I was the last video we made where people were, Mark was doing this so people could slow down. We get a lot of light rain, just enough to get the oils off the surface of the road stirred up. That's what gets you dirty. When it rains really heavily, the water on the road actually is clean because it washes away all that crap. It's just that when you go through puddles, then you pick up the dirt. So that's the key. So you get dirty more from the water on the road than the rain coming from the sky. Yeah. That's where the problem is. Nat King Curry said they got 4 inches, I guess. Maybe he was referring to snow. We don't get snow here that often. Every few years, maybe every 4 or 5 years, we may get a little dusting. But we're not, it doesn't get that cold, and I guess everything has to be right in favorable conditions. It's very moist down here, so maybe that's why. But we don't get snow down here. We get cold. Our cold is really chillier than a lot of places that have drier air. We have a lot of moisture in the air. So our cold cuts. You can't play with it. It's like being wet and being outside in the cold. Because of the high humidity we have. We're near the Gulf of Mexico. Okay. Nat is near Philly. Okay. Yeah. You guys got a lot of snow up there. I was watching the Weather Channel. There's a guy named Jim Cantori. I like to watch him. He's very passionate about weather. He's been doing it for a long time. And he was up north somewhere. There's a lot of snow out there. And I think people had a snow day. They said they went ahead and gave a snow day in certain areas, even though people are doing a lot of online stuff, because their concern was that with the heavy snow, there might be power outages and people wouldn't be able, the kids wouldn't be able to connect to classes, so it was a bit unusual, but they were okay. They didn't lose a lot of power, but that was heavy. I think it set some records in certain places for this early, they do them by the time in the year when the snow comes, It's always pretty. I like to see the snow from a distance because it's a mess. You got to do it. You got to shovel that stuff. The mess when you got to do it. So you guys in California, I figure it's probably dry there, so you shouldn't have any problems tomorrow getting out and getting your Ks in. It's about the only thing that we can do right now with everything going on. We're being told to distance, the social distance and all that stuff, because it's the stuff's out of control. And, if you look, Texas is one of the places that have a high number of cases. So I'm more comfortable being on my bike outside and moving around. And even when Paul and I ride, we don't, like I mentioned in some of the other videos, we don't spend time in convenience stores and all that stuff. A lot of the convenience stores have installed these glass shields so that cashiers are behind the glass shields and so forth. We get what we need and we go outside, we fill up our bottles and we head out. We don't spend time in these stores and so forth. And that's pretty much what we all have to do. Keep your distance and hopefully wait till this stuff dies off. We got to find a way to starve it, I guess, supposedly what I've been reading. Give it no opportunity to jump from one person to another. Kind of like the movie Fallen. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie with Denzel Washington called Fallen. There was a spirit in there, an evil spirit called Azazel. and Azizel would jump from person to person, and he played a detective. It was a pretty interesting movie, and he went out in the woods to try to make sure that it would have no opportunity to jump anymore, but it ended up jumping into a cat at the end. But those of you who've seen it, that's kind of what we have to do with this stuff. Because I was reading up what happened in 1918. It was a mess back then too. You know, it was just, there's a lot of people were killed by that stuff. So it's going to take some time, you know. Everybody's talking about the vaccines and so forth. That's not a cure. I mean, it's going to help you fight it if you get it. But, you know, the more people that have it, the better. At least so we can get these hospitals, because the nurses and doctors are under a lot of strain. Yeah. Leonard says it's really live. Yes, Leonard, we're live. We're just getting ready for the weekend here. And so we're talking about how we're going to be dealing with we've got rain in our area forecasted for in the morning. It's definitely going to rain. So we're talking about how you get ready to not talk yourself out of riding and get your gear together, you know, talk about mud guards and so forth. So yeah, we're live. We do this every now and then, you know, it's getting to where it's better than doing a video and then having all these questions. So people ask questions within reason and we discuss it, and everything's cycling, you know. That's what we're doing here. We get to kind of socialize. Leonard Peterson. Oh, welcome, Leonard. This is welcome to the channel. So we're getting ourselves motivated to get out in the morning. You know, the Festive 500 is starting next Thursday. I don't know if you've ever done it, Leonard. You can sign up on Strava. Rafa started that. I believe it started in 2010. There was a guy that worked for them, one of the designers. He was the guy who really started that, and it's grown. It's kind of good. You know, you ride in 8 days from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. You ride 500 kilometers, 311 miles. And I think this year they're allowing the what you do on Zwift to count. I think they've partnered with Zwift. So people who can't get out, because of course with the pandemic, you can ride on Zwift and it will count towards your mileage. I'm going to be doing it outside. You know, it's next week supposed to be fairly sunny here, but it's not going to stop me. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Let me see if I can make this bigger. The guys at Team RR just posted. Let me see here. Okay, I guess I can read it. There's an app they have called Group Me. Let me see how I can get this to. There we go. I don't know if you guys can read that. It's going to be hard for this thing to focus. It's not going to focus. Okay, I'm going to read it to you guys. It just popped up. We're basically on the Group Me app. And so he will send out notices about rides, you know, sometimes during the week, different people, anybody can post a ride. If you want to join them, you join them. So he says 7:30 a.m. He just sent it at 5:56 p.m. That's the timestamp. So Mark Kate says 7:30 a.m., 7:30 from Crust tomorrow. We'll check weather in the morning and send another message. Okay. That's my pet peeve. If you're gonna ride, you're gonna ride. What are you checking the weather for? Yeah, you're gonna check the weather in the morning. Is that gonna stop you? That's what happens. So in the past, they would send those messages, and then some people would not show up, or you know, whatever. But you can tell there's no commitment there that they're gonna ride tomorrow. Now, the other guys, the WCC guys, they don't send out any message. They meet at the Y at 7:30. If you're there, you go. Rain or shine. They just go. You know, Mo even made a comment on Strava because somebody posted on one of his rides. Somebody put a comment there. Mine, that's early because he left early on a very cold morning. And he said, why have winter gear if you're not going to wear it? Why purchase winter gear if you're not going to wear it? That's what goes on around here. People got winter gear, but they don't want to put them on. Oh, it's too cold. Put on the stuff you have, and you'll be fine. You know? So these guys right now, that's not a commitment. We'll check the weather, the money, and send another message. So how do you commit to that? We're riding. So we're going to line up everything. When tonight, my bike, I will check it like I always do. Put the mud guards on there and set it up. It'll be ready to go. No question about it. So whether they ride or they don't ride, we're riding. That's the thing. It's funny that he sent that message, but that's the kind of stuff. So if you really want to go, you go. But a lot of people don't ride because it rains. So they'll probably wait till Sunday because Sunday is clear. Well, you miss a whole day of riding. So we'll ride tomorrow and we'll ride Sunday. So that's about 10 hours of riding, or 11 hours. Yeah, you get that in your legs. So yeah, so you can't let the weather stop you. You've got to commit. You got to make a plan and stick with it. So there was a guy, Bob, like I said in the video, Bob. Yeah, there we go. Robert Tengler just posted. He said, "Riding a recumbent in the rain is pretty tough." Yeah, because you're sitting and it just hits. You need to put an umbrella. You need a roof. Robert says, hard to find decent recumbent specific kit. Yeah, you're right. I have to get outdoor type clothing, but that's a toss up sometimes. Well, you need to make something like, I don't know if they have, I bet you they have something. Let's see. Something that would be like out of a fairing, or you know how they make outdoor tents. Not typical what they make them real tight and they look real stylish. Something that would let the wind slice over. There's got to be something for recumbents. Let's see here. Ring gear for recumbents. Let's see what we find. Yeah, that's got to, because you're sitting. Oh yeah, they've got use the same stuff. Yeah, same ring gear specific. Yep. So there are other people that share your concern. There is something called Bent Rider. There's a forum here, Robert, where they're talking about. Let's see. I'm going to put this link here for you, Robert. It might help you. I didn't read all of it, but there is a forum here where they're talking about. They're called Bent Rider, the Trike Revolution. Now, might be a bunch of guys that you might want to read up on what they're talking about. Because it's specific. It's a ring gear specific recumbent help, please. Somebody's asking for that. He says, I hate riding in the rain, especially when it's cold. He said the best ring gear doesn't keep you from getting wet as an umbrella or a rain cape might, but it allows you to stay warm even though you're wet. Yeah, you really need like a rain cape if you're going to do a recumbent, because that will spread out and keep the water off of you. Let it just fall off of you. That's what you need. Like the military guys wear. That's what you need, is a rain cape. But check out that forum, Robert. That's what these guys are hanging out on there. It's got to be tough because you're in this position, and that's just catches. So you need a rain cape that will let that rain slide off of you, because you can wear your helmet and cover your head and keep that off your body. You'll probably be okay. Leonard said, when did your passion for cycling start and what keeps you motivated? It's hard to say. I mean, I guess it depends on their different stages. When I was a kid, we all had bikes. And then when I was a teenager, I rode my bike to school because it just gave me a lot of freedom. I didn't have a car or anything, 16, 17, but I could go wherever I wanted. I had what we call a 10-speed back then. But as far as serious cycling, I discovered cycling in the mid-'80s when I started getting shin splints when I was in college. I was getting shin splints a lot from running. I was getting ready for track. And I would use the bike to, stay fit and not have those injuries from running. And then I, found a group. I was riding one time, followed a group. They invited me to join because I was hanging on with them without drafting and in sneakers. The guy's like, if you can do that, you need to come join up. And then I just found I just liked it. And then Le Mans won the Tour. What was that? 86 when he won the Tour. We got that book. And I started reading that book, and I got into I like the old stuff of cycling. I don't know what it is about it. I just like it. No gadgets, and those guys everything was simple. And I just kind of got a liking for it. The sport is just cool. I just like it because it's cool and it keeps you fit. I really like that. Just the little things, if I walk, I've mentioned it before. When I used to travel a lot, walk in the airport, I would just speed up. You'd be walking from gate to gate, and I could speed up without getting out of breath. It doesn't transfer directly because cycling specific fitness, but I just like the feeling of being fit. Like even now, I can carry my daughter on my back. They love that, all that kind of stuff. You can play with your kids and all of that. So, but the main thing was I like the fact that you use your body to go fast. You use self-propelled power, and I just like that about it. And the sport is just cool. The sport has panache and class. Just everything about it. Tactile Z, how you doing? Everything you'll go for the Greg LeMond race back that he won on? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably expensive. I bet you somebody already has that if he didn't keep it. Yeah. Now the closest thing about the bike in the 89 race, if that's the one you're talking about, I have his kit, the ADR kit. And so when the weather gets better here, I'm gonna bring out that kit and the history and the story behind it. I think it'll be cool. We have a guy on here, Harry Potter, that likes that has a Velomobile. He hasn't posted in a while. I've checked them out. They're pretty fast. They're pretty expensive. That's another expensive part of the sport, and they move. You can get them moving, except when you're going uphill, But it's like pretty much a literal car. You can carry more speed, and they're all covered. But they're specialized machines. Yeah, this would be pretty cool. Yeah, I've checked them out. There's a guy on here that gave us pictures of his, and forgot his name right now. One of our legends has a Velomobile. But I'm a road man. I like the road bike. I've done the mountain biking thing. That's fun too, but I just like the road. How does anyone ever ride in the snow? Yeah, people do. You just have to equip your bike with studded tires. I've got tires for the snow. You're not going to be going as fast, but you're going to be working. Yeah, mostly mountain bikes. I wouldn't ride a road bike in the snow. Tires are too narrow. Harry Potter says he was on a live stream a long time ago. He lost 8 pounds since the last time. That's good. It's not easy to lose weight. It seems to be easier to put them on than to lose them. I don't get it. I guess it's because we pay more attention when we're trying to lose it. Maybe that's why. I don't really weigh myself very often. I just ride often because I love riding. And really, I just eat what my body craves. I don't really worry about it. And I eat on a bike. We carry a lot of food. You guys see our jerseys, they're packed because I don't want to stop anywhere, and I don't want to eat any food that I'm not comfortable with or I haven't gotten used to. You don't want to surprise your system when you're riding. But yeah, we carry our stuff. So you pretty much eat your way into shape. That's good that you've lost weight. That means your activity has gone up versus what it was before. That's really what it takes. And you got to be consistent. That's why I don't let the rain stop me, because during the week, it's hard to get out. There's a lot of stuff going on. And Leonard said just go out when it's raining. Don't pretend it's not there, Leonard. You need to have the right equipment. I guess you came late. You need to get some mud guards on your bike. Even if you got a road bike that doesn't have eyelets, get one of those, what they call, the ones we have, they're temporary mud guards you just strap onto the front, and they cover to keep yourself dry, your feet and your rear. And then wear a rain jacket, especially when it's cold. You don't want to get wet when it's cold, because wet and wind makes you chilled and you won't stay out there very long. And you want to make sure you wear gloves that will keep the water from going through, because you don't want your hands to get wet. So you dress warm and make sure you wear stuff that will keep you dry. They've got all kinds of different things. They've got a crab's claw. You can shield your hand. You just got to get the few pieces that you need for the rain, and then you will enjoy it. And then your shoe covers. You got to cover yourself, cover your feet. So yeah, we don't just go out just and pretend it's not there. No, we dress for the rain, and we keep the rain off us, and so it's more fun. Harry says he noticed his weight isn't changing, but he keeps getting better. It will go up to level 4 and 5 at least a few times per ride. Yeah, your weight shoes stabilize. I mean, at first you will lose a lot of weight, but then it stabilizes, and then hopefully you don't plateau. But as you increase either your intensity or the volume, then your weight will change over time. It's not instant. If you ride and then you come home and you've lost weight, that means you're behind on your liquids. You didn't drink enough, So you don't want to weigh yourself after the ride and say, hey, I've lost 2 pounds. No, you need to drink, because you got to make sure that your urine is clear so that you're not behind. You want to keep your weight should be stabilized after a while. And then over time, as you increase volume, then it will drop, but not dramatically. It takes a while for the body to drop the weight. After a while, your body settles because you continue to eat. You want to eat because that's what you need. You need fuel to be able to push. So Harry Potter says, apparently having front and rear mud guards cancels each other out aerodynamically. One of the bike companies did a wind tunnel. Yeah, I've never really paid that much attention to the aerodynamics of it. I just like the fact that they keep me dry. Because when you're dry and you're warm and you're comfortable, you will stay out there longer. We plan on riding at least 6 hours tomorrow in the rain. Well, it's going to be, 50 in the morning? Let's see here. Check the weather here. So at 6 a.m. tomorrow, let's see, it will be 59 degrees. That's about 15 Celsius, something like that. So that's cold here, especially with rain and our humidity. So we're going to be dressing like it's 40 degrees and wearing a jacket to make sure no water gets through. And covering our helmet with this guy. So you wear your cap, put on your helmet, you put this guy on there. When it's rainy and cold, this thing just fits the helmet nicely. And that will keep the water from going through, since we're going to be out there so long. Now, as the rain stops and so forth, we're going to pull that off, put it in our pocket, because it gets hot under that thing because it doesn't let any air flow. But it's really effective at keeping the water. And that's only if it's raining heavily. If it's just light rain, we don't put that thing on. But we carry that with us. In fact, I usually keep one in my kit, the little wallet that I carry. I keep one in there just in case, especially this time of year. In the summer, I don't worry about that because it's already warm. But when it's cold, you want to keep yourself from getting wet. And then the hats that we wear will bead water. So you're not getting water on you per se, but that's only if we get heavy rain. Because I like riding when it's raining. The biggest thing is we make sure it's not thundering or lightning. If that happens when we're out there, then we usually find a safe area and take a break until that passes. That's the only thing. So yeah, don't worry about aerodynamics when you're out training, man. It's like you want to get strong enough to where it wouldn't matter too much. People get too caught up on aerodynamics. I just want to make sure that my feet are dry and my bum is dry, and and I can enjoy the rain more when you're equipped to handle it. And you smile knowing that most other people who are not prepared, they're not riding that day. Can you imagine that? I mean, we love riding, so why let the weather stop you? We're not the only one that rides in the rain. It's just a matter of some people ride in the rain without equipment. And when it's cold, if you get wet, your back and everything get wet, can you imagine? You're going to be chilled. So they don't ride long. They turn around. It's the same thing when it gets cold down here. People don't wear the right stuff. They'll wear the same jerseys that they wear all summer long. in the winter thinking that I can just put a base layer under it. That's not always the case. You need a heavier material to keep you warmer in the winter. That's why a lot of guys turn around. The ride that we loaded last week, a lot of guys, they were turning around because they were cold. Some of them, when we stopped at that gate, were holding themselves like this. I don't miss any of that. I see that, sometimes when I'm looking at the clips. They're holding themselves because they're cold. What I do is when I go out, because you can't always get it right. When I go out on a certain day, and let's say it feels colder than I expected it to be, I keep in my mind, okay, what do I change the next time in this same situation? Do I wear a liner in the gloves? Or do I make sure my shoes are covered? So I've got my own little gauges to where I know when to cover my shoes. Because if you don't, your feet get cold too. Because your legs, you can get away with a lot with your legs because they're working. Your feet are not doing a whole lot to get warm. You don't have a lot of tissue down there. And then your knee. You want to make sure your knees are covered. So, yeah. Speeders say you have to know how to dress. Yeah, and a lot of it comes from experience. You got to try. Step out on the porch. Take a chance. Or go out on a ride and say, hey, you know what? I messed up today. I can't do 3 hours. I'm going to turn around. And you learn from that. So it comes from experience. But you're never going to have the experience if you don't get out in it. Even if you're riding in the snow. You got to have the experience to know what to wear. But a lot of people that ride in the snow are using cross bikes or mountain bikes and other things. They're not worried about going fast. They're worried about doing some work. Because actually when it's very cold, if it's cold enough to snow, you don't want to go fast anyway. You just want to do some work so you don't get that wind chill, Yeah, Harry Potter said knees are key. Yeah, you don't have any spares. The knees they don't have any tissue around them. You don't want to you can get arthritis. You keep your knees exposed like that. So speed racer said, how in depth do you look at the weather report, wind speed, temperature, precipitation? You get all of it now. I mean, we're kind of spoiled thanks to Steve Jobs that started this thing with these phones. It's nice having it on the phone, so I don't have to go sit, a while back before this became prevalent. You had to watch the weather or the weather channel or a local channel, But now you've got everything on here. I think Yahoo Weather even gives you wind. I have the app on here. But really, I don't worry so much about the wind as opposed to the temperature and precipitation. That's what I look at. So I don't worry so much about wind speed. The wind's out there. The wind's doing what it's got to do. I'll just downshift. It's going to take a little longer when we're going into it. So the main thing is temperature and precipitation, because that's what I decide. And temperature is just a guide because it can be 50 degrees, which is 10 Celsius, and then you walk outside and it feels like 40 down here. That's pretty standard. Like last week, this week we just went through, not even last week, earlier this week, it was in the 40s early in the morning, but when you went out, it felt like it was in the 30s. The air was cold. So you have to dress for not just the temperature itself, but what I call the air temperature. And that's why you go outside, have your coffee, cocoa, whatever, you kind of get a feel. And my daughters were laughing at me because I kept telling them this week I did not see any squirrels. I kept telling, I was taking them to school. I said, I don't see any squirrels. The squirrels got it figured out. They were not coming out this week. Because usually we have squirrels galore. Didn't see any one of them this week. So, they store their foods. They didn't come out. It was cold. Even this morning, 37. Yesterday was 28 Fahrenheit. For us, that's cold. That's what we call a hard freeze. They usually use that phrase because it's going to go below freezing without any precipitation. It was cold. You get out there and you could just feel it, And so I don't play with the cold because it doesn't last. Now, today it got up to 62 in the later part of the day. So it goes, to where you never adapt. Yeah. You have to just walk outside, see how it feels, and kind of gauge it. And when there's a doubt, I carry a little extra because I can always take it off, especially if I want to be out there long, But after a while, you kind of get a feel for it, especially around here. If it's cold, I just go ahead and dress like, when it says 40, I dress like it's 35. If it's 50, I dress like it's 45. Then I go outside, see how that feels, while I'm getting ready, And a lot of times we finish getting ready outside. That's why you see when we turn on the camera, we've been putting on our shoes or gloves or something. We're standing out there because you get a better idea. Do I have enough? Sometimes we have to go back, So it's a science. You never master it. That's what keeps it interesting, But it's worth going through the details, because I'd much rather have an extra jacket that I don't need and I take off and stick it in my pocket or stick it up here or underneath my jersey, whatever, than to not have something and be cold out there to where I got to end the ride. Because it's not fun. If you're cold and you're not at your optimum temperature, then you can't function because your energy is being used to keep you warm. Plus, it's not a whole lot of fun. You don't want to stay out there long. So we're going to be out there long. We got to, we don't leave it to chance. And Saturday is the day to get the K's in, That's the day. There's nobody using the roads that much early in the morning. During the week, everybody's battling for position, going to these jobs and stuff. So it's crowded. Yeah. So that's the way you have to do it. But anyway, I just wanted to do this session to talk about the weather, because what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow, we'll get some clips when we're out there. It would most likely just be Paul and I, because you saw the message Team RR put out there. Plus, it's no fun following riders who don't have mud guards in the rain. You don't want to do that. They just spray you. You just get messy. So you don't want to do that. Jeffrey, how you doing? So Jeffrey, you came at the end. We're wrapping up. We're just talking about rainy rides tomorrow. It's going to be raining tomorrow, so we're talking about how we're getting ready for it. We'll get some clips, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. We'll discuss our garments that we're wearing when we're doing the clips. So you guys get ready, get some rest. Those of you who are already Saturday, like Melanin, enjoy the days. You got some cold weather miles. Yeah, it's cold everywhere. The whole country is cold. So stay safe. We'll get some clips for you guys on. So Tuesday we can have some more fun. We'll put something interesting together. Okay? Be cool, everybody. We're out.